All right, look at this. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to have you guys here today. My name is Estiverne. I sit on the board of NAFLI, and NAFLI is National Alliance for Financial Literacy and Inclusion. And that's what we're talking about today. We're going to be talking about the human side of money. But what's really exciting is we are at the Cannes Lions Festival at their Impact Hub. And I think we're here as finance experts, mental wealth experts, to have a conversation about money. And I'm just really excited to be here. But before we get started, I kind of want to set the tone and kind of talk to you guys about what we're hoping to accomplish today. Because when we talk about financial literacy, we often talk about budgets, investments, typical financial products. But have we really expanded and understand financial wellness, right? The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, right, defines financial wellness as a state of being wherein a person is able to fully meet current and ongoing financial obligations. That's that feeling of security, right? Which then impacts their financial future. But the truth is, money has never been just about money, right? Money influences our relationships. Sometimes it defines who we are. And yet the financial products we design today, they're still just based around transactions. And in a heavy regulated environment, our products today essentially are built to serve us, which is great, right? But does that include our mental health and how we view money? So I'm excited to bring this conversation today and really excited to introduce our experts that will be tackling this conversation. I mean, experts, I could introduce you, but I think it'd be more fun if you introduce yourself. So maybe we'll start with Alejandra. If you could introduce us, tell us what you do and why this conversation is important to you.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having us. I'm Alejandra Rojas. I'm the founder of Brown Way to Money. We do financial education and a bridge to media and amplification for women of color. And we focus on financial trauma, behavioral finance, and psychology. And this conversation is so relevant, especially here in Cannes, when we see that the creator economy is growing and changing faster than expected. So we have to have the money conversation, and we have to have it in a deeper layers than it's happening beyond the contracts.
Yeah, I love it. We have to have the money conversation. Juliana, I'd love to get you to introduce yourself and talk to us about that.
Thank you for having me here. I'm Juliana Tavares. I'm the founder of 3.0, a beverage, Brazilian beverage, and in tech as well. I would say that I'm not a financial expert. I'm here more on the human side, and you guys are sitting on the financial side. I just think it's so important to close the gap between the financial institutions and the traditional systems that maybe was never designed for the human side and the behavior that we have, because most of financial decisions are based in emotions, because life is emotions, not emotion, not just mathematical. So I think it's important to close the gap and the messaging for us to speak the same language.
Oh, I love that, Juliana. The human design, right? Making sure that we're considering multiple scenarios, right, in terms of the products and services that we build. Oh my goodness, Shira.
Hi. By the way, you're killing it. I'm like watching you host. Yes, it's a beautiful setup.
I was just going to say, Shira is a resident of Cannes Lions Festival and a pro, but a mental health wellness person. And we'd love to have you introduce yourself as well.
Yeah, I'm Shira Lazar. I'm the founder and CEO of What's Trending. My background actually was in digital media and broadcasting. Right, so I do this for a living. I host, I interview people, but I really built my career in digital media and within the creator economy. But I started out in this space 20 years ago, so it wasn't even called the creator economy. It was just the place, the stepping stone to traditional media. But it became my entire career, which is so cool because I was in very early. I'm an OG, but because I was, on the frontier, you also go through a lot of ups and downs because a lot of trial and error. There's no path. You're experimenting a lot, which is a beautiful thing. But it caused me to go through many ups and downs. Naturally, this space has a lot of highs and lows. We see a lot of the headlines, Mr. Beast and everything, and the money coming in, but it doesn't really represent the reality of the creator space. So that really led me into being curious about my own, to be honest, mental health and going through my own personal growth journey. And then at a certain point, I realized, well, I've learned a lot, and I continue to, obviously. And how do I bring it to my community as someone that's been around? There's so many young people coming into this space. How do we set them up for real success? And I started an organization called Creators for Mental Health as well. So we're bringing mental well-being tools to the creator economy through events, content, education, and services. And we talk about community and advocacy. So we are also working with lawmakers to set up laws, regulations, and protections for creators as a new workforce as well.
Wow, fantastic.
Yeah.
It's funny, I heard this, the creator economy concept is fairly new to Cannes. And so I think it's exciting times that we're having conversations about an emerging industry that maybe there is aspects of this that needs to be talked about, especially with the human side of money. So really excited right, I'm telling you. And, speaking of creators, I'm so excited to also introduce Yin. Yin is a creator and a builder on her side of the house. Yin, if you can introduce yourself as well.
Thank you, Amanda, for having us and inviting us all here. My name is Yin Mei, and I am an artist and engineer. I work as a founder and principal of my own business, Moss Path Labs, where I offer solutions, technical solutions, and business solutions for anyone trying to navigate intentional, impact-oriented businesses and organizations. The topic of finance and financial wellness comes at a time when the workforce and our individual experiences are greatly being transformed by all the new technology coming through. And so there's a lot of emotions, a lot of decisions, and moments where we are either looking for new ways to make our living or to create new ecosystems where we can partner with the correct organizations and create solutions out of hope, ground up. And that's why we have little mossy paths. We are resilient, and we must find ways forward that fit our size of life.
Oh, I love that, Yin. Yeah. You brought up a few things that I think is really important, or just a triggering word that I realized is that we're all founders here, right? We're all founders here with a mission, and we're here, really trying to be active and build communities around these types of conversations and initiatives, which I think is amazing. So I'll introduce myself last. I'm Amanda Estiverne. I am the founder of AG Advisors, and we do work with organizations to help amplify their financial inclusion initiatives. And I also sit on the board of NAFLI as an advisor as well. And this is the philanthropy side of my world, where it's fintech for social good. So that's why I'm really excited to come and bring this conversation to Cannes, because there is an aspect of messaging, right, marketing, and this need of revamping financial education so it's more comprehensible, right, to the audience. And so one of the things that I think is exciting is that this year NAFLI got a chance to attend Davos, where there were conversations about the brain economy, and we noticed that if you think about it, there is an aspect of overconsumption, and we're also pressured to bring speed with technology and AI. It's going to impact our mental health and well-being, right? Which we know will impact the financial decisions that we decide to make. But one person mentioned the emotional side of money that I think is really great. We did get a chance, so NAFLI gets to partner with a lot of financial advisors and wealth managers. And our partner, our knowledge partner on sponsoring this portion of this event is called Ozzy. And Ozzy shared with us this survey that they did of 1,500 users and their response to money statements. And it was presented as so. So 71% say the entire entire point of earning money is to be free. So that hope and freedom aspect of it. 65% of it is that elevated on the need for a cushion. So safety, that concept of security and safety. 47% said money statements are around fear and anxiety, which I kind of want to talk about a little bit. 40% of it is love and generosity. But interesting enough, 4% was driven by power and status. Only 4%? I thought that was a little light.
They're not being honest with themselves.
Right, I don't know. Let's be a little upfront. But it makes me think about our relationship with money and what is the first emotion that comes to mind. And so I'd love to start the conversation on how has that emotion shaped the way you make decisions, take risks, or think about financial success today? Like, who would like to start talking about that?
I'm
Alejandra?
going to jump in, but also to the point of the 4%. It's interesting because, as I shared before with some of you, we did the study for women of color specifically about how they experience money, and the stats are very similar, but that 4%, it doesn't exist with women of color. And after all of these years on this industry, my guess is because that desire comes once you are out of the trauma.
Yeah.
So you are trying to take care of yourself, trying to predict what is going to happen, and then once that is covered, then you can tap into that. But when you ask the question, what is the first emotion? So you have to ask me, what stage of my life?
Oh, yeah.
Because there is a different emotion if I remember my childhood. It's different than when I moved out of my house, when I started to live in another country, when I got together with somebody else in a relationship, right? So there are different emotions, but throughout, and because I grew up with financial literacy, and because I grew up talking about money, the emotions are different and they push me to do different things. But I think consistently what I can think of, one consistent emotion is that hopefulness.
Hopefulness, yeah.
Is right, that like the opportunity part of it.
Yeah. Thoughts on that, Tim?
I mean, I feel like also for me, my experience with money, my relationship with it has changed over time.
Yeah.
And when I started becoming aware of, I guess, wanting more, or I was having a lot of ups and downs with money. I would like make a bunch of money, and then I would like it'd be dry.
Yeah.
Or I'd go through everything, and then I was like, why do I keep on hitting that? Even with my company, I would hit this max, and I could never break that. And then I go, okay, there's the realities of that, of where I'm at and support and resources, or is it also my relationship with it? Because that's very real. And so I started realizing even when I would pay for things, even a coffee with my credit card, I would get anxiety. And so it took me slowing down and really being self-aware to say, instead of when I use my credit card for a big or small purchase, I go like, thank you, like really giving love to it. And sometimes I'll even have conversations with money. We're getting into the therapy woo-woo stuff. Yeah. But it also impacts our work and even being here and our ability to do the things we want to do in life and build, especially when you're an entrepreneur and building on your own. You really have to do a lot of your own internal work around that. People underestimate that. We talk about all these external goals, but then I go, okay, but like, what do you think about yourself? Do you think you deserve this success? What's your background? What was your ancestors, your parents' relationship with money? I grew up, I don't want to like drag my family under the mud, but but no, I mean, they're great now, but it was not easy. And I experienced that, and they always provided for me, but I experienced that anxiety around money. And even now with them, oh my God, with them having everything they want, there's still this, but what if, which is real, and that always happens. But I go to them from looking from the outside, but you're fine. You're okay. And so then I think to myself, how does that end up impacting me? Am I feeling that way? And how does that then impact how I approach my business, my employees, contractors, people that ask me for money? And when I feel, are you asking for too much? Can I hit that? Is it possible I could go a few hundred, a few $1,000s more?
Right.
Because I would ask for that.
Yeah.
Can I do that for someone else and say, no, I will be okay too? Right? So there's so many things I go through. And now, so there is a lot with money where if I'm feeling I'm doing well, you know, I remind myself, one, gratitude. I thank you. You can trust me with this. I trust myself with this. And then when I feel like this idea of, scarcity, or I'm worried that it's not happening, I'm not in the flow, I'm getting a lot of no's, I start going like, well, I'm really scared. I actually have a conversation. Money, I'm scared. I'm worried I'm not going to be able to pay my bills. I'm worried I'm not going to be able to hit my revenue, blah, blah, blah. And I'll see what it says to me.
Yeah.
You know, you're trying too hard. I can't work like this. I can't work like this. You're pressuring me too much.
Pressure.
You're too much pressure. Yeah, let me be. Just relax. Let go a little. And then, you know, whatever that is it a conversation with actually the energy of money? Is it a conversation with myself?
Yeah.
That has opened up so much. So these are little exercises you can do it yourself. Think about, you know, your family's relationship with money. How you grew up with money. What you feel if you had to slow down and say, if I had to, you know, talk to money, have a conversation, what would we say to one another? And, you know, what are my goals with money? And I need to look at all these things to then hit that. It doesn't happen in a vacuum. This all, you know, impact our biases, our unconscious beliefs, our blind spots. So I think these are things we really need to look at to come to this industry, even can align with a more value-driven system.
Ooh, I love it. I love it, Shira. Yeah, because I'm just thinking how we're supposed to, like even our plants, we're supposed to breathe life into our plants, breathe life into our money. I really like this. Ian, what's your thoughts?
I really resonate with what you say about that having that conversation with yourself, because for me, the significance of money has transformed based on my relationship about power and trust.
Self-trust, self-worth,
yes,
all of it.
I think in the communities that I'm, you know, in touch with, whether they're artists or workers, individuals who have not had a lot of trust with the money system, the feeling of having to talk about money and the power that comes with it, it comes from a place of scarcity, comes from a place of fear. But once you recognize that money isn't bad, that money is actually power and trust that you can take control of if you have knowledge, the pursuit of knowledge about the power in money and the trust in money and the different ways that we can build ourselves out of debt and out of into investment and being responsible with the way that we spend and use our money. That empowers kind of a starting path to a better relationship with ourselves. So having that agency can be, you know, really translated in those conversations.
I'm like bouncing off but I love the idea of letting go, the shame, approaching, confronting your own trauma around money. And then for me, it's also saying, why do I want this? One, because of all these things, being honest with yourself. And then it's okay. Don't feel guilty for wanting these things. You deserve these things. It's something you want, you deserve. Stop creating stories around that it's good or bad. And then for me, it's also giving back. If I have money, I could pay people. I could contribute to the system. I could create the world I want. You know, you don't need to always have money, but it helps. I can be in control of that versus having to rely on people that I might not agree with.
No, I love this. Juliana, did you have?
I love and continue the conversation. What Shira is saying. I think there are so many emotions connected with financial decisions, generational trauma. not being financial educated as well, passing from family to the next generation. But I think that also the mentality of where the systems are made against you, against the people, not in order to help you succeed. I think financial wellness is not just about helping people survive, but making the right systems for them to thrive. And I think that myth where the rich get richer and the poorer get poorer is a very not productive way to start your financial life and life in general. And what you say about the fear and creating from fear has a different impact than creating from abundance and prosperity.
So go ahead,
Yeah,
Alejandra.
I just don't want to lose the thought
yeah.
here, because Shira mentioned 3 powerful emotions with money: fear, shame, and guilt. The only emotion that is inherited from human is only fear. Shame and guilt are society created. And that's powerful in the work that we do, that everybody understands that, because fear, your body creates fear so that you get out of a dangerous situation. But shame is to control behavior, and guilt is to control behavior. So you actually win between, since you're born and 7 years old, it's easier to control a toddler saying, oh, look at you, what people is going to say. And then you start creating that shame because it's the comparison. And guilt is also, don't left your community out, because if you are out of community, then you may die. But those two are artificially for us to survive as a community. And that's an important distinction that I have found for people to understand, to move through the financial trauma, because guilt and shame are the biggest ones.
No, I love this. It's triggered a thought because, emotions overrides knowledge, right?
Our brains take over,
Right.
and they're not. It's there, for protection, but also you have to realize it's not always real. Like we end up giving our brains so much power without realizing. We could tell it, hey, not now. I love you, but not now. And creating new pathways for ourselves, depending on the narrative we want, depending on the life we want to live. What's possible? If we see it and feel it and believe it, it's possible. Right?
No, you guys mentioned quite a few emotions like anxiety, the scarcity mindset, how you're, being introduced to money, historically. And, Ozzy's team brought us a few stats and mentioned that, it's funny too. It says in terms of financial literacy may aid, or there's an assumption that it aids in trying to abet some of these emotions. But people are still anxious about savings. As he stated, 45% of folks are still anxious from their survey about saving, and 40% never feel financially secure. Even through the trauma. And that makes me think about, how our parents was raised with how financial management and things like that. But how do you think emotions influence financial decision making, and what role should financial education play in helping people navigate not just money, but their relationship with money?
Well, I think that this survey brings me back to the first one, where the minority very little said about power. And I think you can feel empowered. You cannot have power if you are not free.
Ooh, okay.
Which is the first and the most answered. And I think that how if we create financial education as infrastructure, not just an optional tool.
Ooh, as infrastructure again,
I resonate that with the different financial education communities that I've witnessed emerging, because we need companionship, we need support, we need a place of safety. So in my community, we have financial salons where we just normalize the conversation around money. Social clubs that are formed on their own just because we're interested in talking about our challenges together, and then also making friends, meeting your neighbors, and realizing that we can support each other. There are free community dinners that are normalized as well to destigmatize the fact that on the baseline, we want shelter, we want food, and we never want to fear that we don't have the option of that if things are going tough. I mean, we accumulate these habits, these financial rituals, which are very expensive. If we're used to that, high earner, still not earning enough. Was it the Henrys? I forgot the whole acronym. But if you're a high earner and you're new to owning money, you might not think about, the power that you're holding on to as you're giving it away in order to express this freedom through pleasure. But freedom can also be an act of investment when you create wealth. And that wealth could be something that we inherit together as a community. So where are you putting that money? Where are your trust circles that really require your action?
Oh, I love this. Yin, sorry. I love this, the trust circles, right? This financial rituals, which I think is pretty interesting because it's like habits, right? But it triggered a question really quickly, is what role does community play in shaping financial confidence, right, and behavior? And what have you learned from the power of shared experiences, right? You mentioned these financial circles. How impactful can that be in one's financial journey?
I will jump in with this one because that is the number one tool that we have found to change. So financial anxiety and financial safety, it doesn't come from a number. It will never come from a number, but from the knowledge of knowing that somebody else has your back.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That you can open up and say, I don't have it together, I don't know how to make it, or even like in the creator economy, I'm making so much money, I don't know what to do with it.
Ooh, okay. That
To be able to have that open conversation is what brings the financial confidence, and of course the path on how to use those resources. So for us, and the reason why we bridge media and financial education is because we have to have conversations. Like you see me here going around asking people, how much are you spending? Asking people, talk about money, but it's not only because I want to be noisy. I mean, I do, but it's also because when somebody else wants to talk to you about that, you're more open to talk to somebody else about that experience. And we can normalize the money conversation.
And that's why it's so important to talk about this, because the things that we don't talk about are the things that we feel guilt about.
Exactly.
Yes, and on the gap of the messaging and the traditional financial systems and understanding and people feeling that trust and that the traditional financial system got your back. It's important. I think that's the missing gap as well in the messaging.
I want to offer an ecosystem that I've witnessed recently where I am from, upstate New York. There's an emergence, clearly, of a lot of desire for in real life experiences. So a lot of spas, Soho houses even opening upstate. But listen, we already have, I know, wow. So people want to spend a lot of money to connect, right? And to be in presence with nature. But the one that I've witnessed locally in my vicinity of the ecosystem I'm in is in the food system. Glenwood Farms is an incredible nonprofit that services anywhere from Brooklyn to Albany through funding the food supply with Food Sovereignty Fund as one of their actors of funds to fund smaller farms so that they can supply fresh produce to food distribution systems. Fairground.org is one that I volunteer with, and I enjoy the communities that they've built. And there are a lot of actors up and down the Hudson Valley as well who offer beautiful spaces, estates that we just don't know about, right? Because they're already there. So look around you, see who's already around you and where you can connect again with them, because they're your resources.
Yeah.
I have a few things, 'cause I was like listening to everyone and I was like, okay, I wish I had my phone on me to make notes. So yeah, financial literacy, already a lot of people are talking about bringing into the school system.
Right.
So it's like
Right.
basic education.
Yes.
And not having that gate kept
Yes,
for
yes.
certain groups of people,
Right.
clearly.
Clearly, yeah.
And so there's that. But I think then there's two other things that come to mind is, as a woman, and I talk a lot about this with other female entrepreneurs, other creators, like, we talk about how men, and maybe I'm generalizing, but let's be real.
Let's be real.
But I haven't done a study like Ozzy.
Yeah, Ozzy, yes. Yeah.
But what I see from lived experience is that men share a lot, of the information with each other.
Yes.
They see a deal,
Agreed.
they see
Yeah.
an investment, they say, dude, get on it.
They brag about
They
it.
talk about it, but then they will drag their other guys. They want to all succeed together. They raise each other up.
Yeah.
No matter where their other guy friend is.
Yeah.
The guy friend that's not doing well, really doing well, yo, you need to get in.
Yeah.
Get off your butt. Get in on this. I'm dragging you, right?
Yeah.
I don't care what you say. You know, they give each other a little crap.
Yeah.
You know, while they do
I love it. Love it.
And then for us, I think because we put a lot more pressure on ourselves as women, clearly, we don't want to be wrong. We're scared of being wrong because, like, the repercussions of that are bigger.
Yes.
Because if we do make a mistake in the past, we get judged more for it, and that leads to failure and losing opportunities.
Yes.
Yeah.
So because of that, we don't. Oh, I don't want to get you, and I want to test it. I want to.
Yeah.
Before we know it, even though we don't want to be this way, we are gatekeeping the information.
Yeah.
And we're keeping it to ourselves. And because of that, we're not letting give ourselves more freedom around our choices, being empowered by the choices, sharing it in community.
Yeah.
And we maintain this fear and secrecy around money because, you know, we're scared of being wrong or something happening, and I'm giving you the wrong information.
Sure.
Yeah.
Instead of realizing we're all a work in progress, and it's
Yeah.
okay.
Progress.
And things might work, might not, but that's part of the journey. And talking honestly about everything from salary to deals to investments. You know, I have some women that are amazing entrepreneurs that were doing their early stage raise, and I said to them, send me your deck, send me your deck. And these are women I love and adore. They never sent me the decks. Meanwhile, I have guys I talk to, they'll freaking bother me for money.
Right.
And I said, like, I want to be investing in you. Like, but I think that there's this assumption, I don't want to bother you. Maybe you're not really into it. You're not a traditional, as another woman, you're not a traditional investor. Because they also have the pressure of needing certain types of people on their cap table. Whereas guys need those people, but they'll also bring in their friends because they want to all, you know, rise together.
Yeah.
So we need to have honest conversations about this to get ourselves to the next level so we're all making more money also as women together. And then after this, I'll talk more about the creator economy and the
Well, team, you know, apologies. I know we're just getting started, but we do have to wrap things up a bit.
Can I just talk about the creator economy? Because I did do a report
really
on mental health and creators, the most comprehensive study in North America.
Okay.
And the top thing that creates stress and mental health issues is the financial instability of the creator economy, which is the most talked about space here at Cannes Lions, the most money moving into this space, fastest growing job sector, and yet the top stress is financial instability. So right now we need to really figure out bridging that gap around the industry, the platforms, the businesses raising money, and the creative work, digital gig workers building it, and make sure they're taken care of. And that's why I'm also creating spaces where we could talk about that. We could get support from one another because that's how, again, all boats rise, and we create a better ecosystem together. We talk about this is a new industry. Why are we then continuing to build like the past? When we get to build a new version of what we want to see.
New framework.
Yeah,
It's the framework.
exactly.
It's the ecosystem.
And
I know
you saying that, I think that my final thoughts here
Yes,
of this
of course.
conversation is that language is the bridge for communication and understanding. And the reason I think why women don't talk a lot about finances is because we don't have the language yet, even in the entrepreneur world. But I also think that as we shift the economy from attention economy to intention economy, from creators to communities, how if we could see ahead and prepare this economy to have a long-lasting impact rather than just something that it's not impactful.
Oh my goodness, fantastic last thought. And apologies, we could go on about this for days.
We will go on
But
next time.
I want to make sure I leave some time to, you know, not only thank you guys for this amazing discussion, because NAFLI, This is our first time here at Cannes Lions Festival. Yes.
Thank you.
And, you know, we wanted to bring progressive conversations like this, the human side of money, as it's really important because we believe in the empathy side of banking, really making sure that we're building financial products and services that serve the communities that leverage them. So thank you so much for joining our conversations. Thank you to the Act Responsible team, Frank Sterling from the Cannes Lions Festival, Isabel, for trusting us with this conversation. And we hope that it inspires some thought process in terms of taking risks and managing our financials and building more confidence. So thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda, for gathering us.
Dance. Let's go.
We did it. Okay, perfect. What? So well.